Everyone has a bright light inside of them that deserves to be seen by the world. That's why it's time to shine the light on the extraordinary who are accomplishing phenomenal things. This is the Shine Out Loud Show with Lillian Ogbogo.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever in the world you are. This is me, Lillian Ogbogo, on another episode. Yes, it's that time, that place. It's a Wednesday, and join me for another episode of the Shine Out Loud Show. I have my fantastic guest all the way from the other side of the world in Curaçao. This woman is, to say that she is talented is an understatement. She's an author, she's a journalist, she's a TV personality in her own right. And this woman has not just written books in one language, she's written books in 3 languages. Join me and welcome the incredible, the fantastic Reyna Joe. Hi, Reyna.
Hi, Lillian. Thank you for this great introduction.
Oh, you
Hello
so
to your listeners.
I am so glad you're joining us. So, for people who don't know where Curaçao is, please tell us, where is Curaçao?
Okay, Curaçao is the center of the world. We are in the Caribbean. We are in the Caribbean. And as you know, you've been here. We are eternal summer. So that's what I can say about Curaçao. It's a fantastic island. I invite everyone to visit us.
It is a really beautiful island, and I think the most unique thing was the bridge that swayed, the bridge that goes across, and I was like, wait a minute, this bridge is not fixed. This bridge goes across. I was like, yeah, that blew my mind.
It's moving.
The moving bridge. So
it's one of the icons on the island. It's one of the icons because I know that we had some people from Australia. They were fascinated sitting there and looking at the moving bridge.
I know, and it sits on pontoon. So if anybody has the fortune to be down in that island, you want to be on that bridge when it actually moves, because first of all, you're stuck, you have no place to go, and it's a very unique thing. It's when
but
you see people.
We do have other great things, like we have our people, the people in Curaçao. You will find it very interesting when you're dealing with us, because most of the time we can serve you and communicate with you in your language. And that's part of our schooling system, that you don't have a choice. When you finish secondary school, you must be able to read, write, and speak Dutch, English, Spanish, and the native language, Papiamentu. And depends on what other school you go, you will also have to speak French and German. And nowadays, the other language that is taught and spoken around is Mandarin, Chinese Mandarin. So it's one of the things that you don't have a choice, but it's one of our blessings.
That was a thing that, actually blew my mind, that at the bare minimum, people were bilingual. But at the other extreme, you had people who were polyglots, who knew 7 languages. And it was like, yeah, it's not a big deal. And I'm like, I speak English, so I'm just going to go sit in a corner.
No, but it makes it easy. And don't forget, one of our economic pillars, very important economic pillar, is tourism.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
So it's very great that we have the ability to communicate, because I've traveled to countries where they only speak their language, and I must see what I do, because even if you speak English, they don't understand, or they are not interested in you because they consider you the strange thing, speaking something else that they don't understand.
Yes.
But we are programmed to serve, and that's one of the things we can do very well by being multilingual.
And I say it's just really fascinating, and we will talk a bit more in depth about Curaçao, but Papiamentu is a language that is unique to Curaçao, and it's actually it's where did that language originate from?
It came with the slaves from Africa, East Africa. And one of the very interesting things is because all the other islands around us had their own languages, but it disappeared. It disappeared because they had a dominating language like English or French. But in our situation, because for economic reason, our language didn't vanish because especially the Jewish people who were the merchants, they didn't speak Dutch.
Okay.
So they had the communication, and the language survived by being at a certain moment it was a mix that became a language. And the basic reason for this language to have survived is economic reason, and especially because the Jews didn't speak the Dutch. Okay. And I think that's one of the powerful things that we have. And actually, when we look at this, because Papiamentu is spoken in parliament, the governor speaks it in public, it's spoken in church. So it's not a hidden language, it's an official language with its own grammar, with its own rules.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the things that we have, that makes a community, makes people powerful. That's one of our powers.
I definitely agree. And it's actually one of those languages that, because of its origin, and it's a written language, it's very structured. And I thought that was the thing that fascinated me when I was over. And yes, your island is beautiful, and so are your people.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, we have you on the show, and we're going to talk about all the things that you do. And for people who don't know you, exactly, that's going to be a very long amount of stuff to go into. You are a journalist. You are
I studied journalism. Yes, I studied journalism in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
The school. I went to the School of Journalism long time ago. Yes, in the Netherlands.
And, and you are also a radio television personality. You do a vast myriad of things, because alongside your, your TV work and your radio work, you also work you have clients who you create stuff for it with your communication company. But that's not the most fascinating thing about you, because you've also been a baseball coach. You have, see, I remember these things. You've been a baseball coach because of your sons. You have done you have a length and breadth of work that is like 3-4 lifetimes worth of people's lives that you've packed into one life, because alongside this, you are also a fully fledged Feng Shui master and a Pachi practitioner. So we're going to go into all of this. So let's start with this. There's, when you look at everything, I'm just fascinated. You have an event that you've been running for 15 years, which is targeted at women, female leadership, and it's a conference for women which you host every year. What led you to create this conference?
One of the very important things in Curaçao is that we are the only country that had 5 female prime ministers in the world.
Wow.
I grew up in a country where it was not a problem to be a girl. And actually, growing up, being a girl was not something you were thinking about. It was not something that that I had to worry with. It was normal for girls to go to school. It was normal for us to get an education. And when I say that, it's not only me, all the girls in my generation.
Right.
That was the norm, okay? There may be some exceptions, but that was the norm. So growing up, you don't realize that there are other things going on in the world, because our world, girls go to school.
Yes. And
then you see all these powerful women around you, doing what they have to do, and it's a pity sometimes you cannot go and ask them, why did you do that? But why were you a role model? But they were there, and you see them, and that became our normal, that women, girls are seen, are active. And then when I started to work at the television, I had my television show. It was called Moins Informa, so Informed Women.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a weekly show that I had for a few years. Because you see that despite all the things that I knew, women were telling you things that became a conflict to what the reality was. You understand?
Yes.
And then all the international information. Don't forget, we are open as an island. You are open to the world. And you get all this information about women lib. And so we skipped that part. We had other problems, social problems. And especially with women having more and more women going to work outside of their house, because in the past women used to have their businesses at home and so on, but not so many women were really going out to work for a company as an employee. And with that came also the other realities, men not accepting it, men having a hard time with it, women going through situations that they, at a certain moment, they were financing everything and the man was not supporting them. And actually, there were a lot of triggers to go to the part of giving information. I had in me that I wanted to have a forum or open information so people could make better choices. That's one of the things that I still want to do. But at that moment when I started, and then in 2004, it was actually as a member. I'm a board member of the Hope Springs Institute, and by participating there, I realized that so much is going on with and for women, while there are a lot of laws pro-women. So women are in the situation that if they know the laws, if they know their rights, they can benefit from it.
Right.
And it was sitting in one of the meetings at Hope Springs that the idea came up, do something like this in Curaçao. Of course, I cannot do something exactly, so I decided to put it in the make it a conference, and then from there continue to the idea behind having a good forum or a platform of information for women. And that's how it started. And the original idea was to only have 6 conferences and then that's done. But then you continue each conference, people ask things that they think, I didn't think of that, And so more and more it continued to develop. As this month we're going to have the 15th. So I think we have a long way to go, especially because one real concern of me is that the young women don't know how we got here. They don't realize they go and study abroad, and then they come back and they think that they have all the rights, and it is normal to have the rights, while it is not normal. And sometimes if you don't know your rights, you can lose them.
This is true.
So I'm so concerned about the young women telling me how they talk about the past, about our history. They don't know it. They don't understand. And what we have was not a gift. There were some brave women who went before us and who spoke about the situations that we were having on the island, all those things. But no one is telling these young women that. So they think that the reason that they can go to school, the reason that they can have everything, the reason that they can vote, like this year, we are celebrating 70 years of voting, general voting rights. Before that, it was only possible for educated men from high social class had the right to vote.
Wow.
And then there was a group of women with families. They decided to go from house to house with a petition to be signed, to send to Holland, for Holland to give us the right for everyone to vote, women and men. So you cannot say it was only for women,
yes,
but also the less educated men or the uneducated men couldn't vote either. So because of this group of women, courageous women, that we have now, that we did get 70 years ago, the voting right for everyone. So, and then these people think, the other day I was talking to a young girl, she got married, and she was saying that her colleagues had cooperated with her so she could get 3 weeks honeymoon vacation. I told her, do you realize that just a few years ago, and when I say a few years, I'm talking about 40, 50 years, I said if a woman got pregnant, if a woman got married, that was the last day she had a job, because that means she was firing herself.
Oh,
She
wow.
said, no, discrimination. I said, no, but you getting married now, it's normal. When your honeymoon is over, you go back to work. Other women had to go stay at home because they got married, and the general idea was for a man will take care of you. And they were like, huh? So I think we have to continue with the conference, because a lot of women, even with good intentions, a lot of young women, they cannot imagine what the reality of life was for our grandmothers, their grandmothers.
I think that's actually very important, is that you're laying a foundation of reminding the young women who are coming up the sacrifices, remind the young women of, these are the reasons why you can do this. These are the reasons why you cannot afford to sit back and say, well, it's, we don't have a problem, or, we shouldn't really bother because we have all that we need. So I think that's actually very powerful.
Next to that, I am sure that the way we are positioned in the world, and the way that Hollywood made us part of the global village, is our challenge. Because I can say whatever I want. They will look on the tablet. They will watch any of those powerful, financially powerful media that will tell them a different story.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only for my island, but it's also for the rest of the world, or other countries that are not the powerful countries, to be aware that we have this situation. Because this situation already changed our way of feeling for our own countries. And it will, if you don't talk about it, even if you talk, people don't listen, you cannot do anything. But if you don't keep reminding them, or try to keep reminding them, actually it's a little sad, Yeah. Because I think that patriotism is very well, but it's not powerful enough if your history is not seen, because the history of powerful countries is heard and seen. So we have big challenges,
But I'm sure that you are very well equipped to actually take these challenges on.
In small groups, yes, because in small groups you can say certain things, and in some groups you are safe when you say certain things, because there are always people who will start the discussion. But I think we need to. I had some talks with we had a family reunion in December, and I have these lovely nephews and nieces living in the Netherlands, and they cannot understand us. They cannot understand where their parents came from. They cannot see the things that we see, because according to them, some things are not possible. The reality is not theirs, And they love coming home, but it's vacation time. When they come home, they come for vacation. It's not we are hardworking people. We have our lives. But a lot of people come and they think it's only vacation, good time. They don't see that efforts are being done to make it a better world for ourselves too.
And speaking of that, you started your career out in the Netherlands. What made you, you had your career for 16 years in the media in the Netherlands. What made you decide to go back home to Curaçao?
No, I worked 3 years in the Netherlands. I studied there first, and when I finished, I got a job where I had my internship. And I worked 3 years at Radio Netherlands.
Okay.
Fantastic thing. I had my own radio show, my own TV show. And then I worked for 13 years on the island at the national television here. And actually, I was offered a job. I was working in somewhere in the Netherlands. And this person came up to me and thought I was from Suriname. I said, no, I'm from Curaçao. And then he started to speak with me in my language. He said, but why are you working here? I said, because I don't have a job at home. And that's how I got a job.
Okay.
He said, but I'm offering you a job. And that was at the television. So that's how I came back home.
Okay.
And actually, you know, we are all destined for something. So I think I had to be here. And I'm really grateful I had the opportunity because I had a great time working at a television station here. And then I started my own company. The reason I started my own company was because I wanted to look after my kids myself. And when you're working, it's a little difficult. And my mother was helping me, but still I wanted to do some things myself. And that's how I started my company 29 years ago. It's a long time.
Exactly.
And yes, but I still have the connections in the Netherlands. Sometimes I do work with them.
Okay.
And I'm very grateful for that experience, really.
Okay. So your communication company, like you mentioned, started 29 years ago.
Yes.
How has it adapted over the years to keep up with the current social media driven world and all the digital trends and changes?
This afternoon I was talking with an assistant of me. And I was telling her, you see why we can work with very little people, because we have the digital world. So actually, as the general trend is all over the world, companies, when they are digital, they don't need so many people.
True.
And actually, for small and medium businesses, this is a blessing. You know, I get up in the morning, I sit in the computer, I start doing certain things, routine things that I have to do for clients. I check my own things. And really, what I usually had to do sometimes in 2 days, I had a full-time career person who had to come in the morning, take all the press releases, go to every media, get them there, time limit, we have to hurry. Now I sit here and, you know, with one click, everybody gets the same thing.
This is true.
And
yes.
I went through the whole thing, and it means you don't need more people. You just need 1 or 2 people who can do the job. In our case, and we are doing a lot of things, but 1 or 2 people can do it. You just need good Wi-Fi and fast and creativity. You know, and realize we had designers, we had to do a lot of things you can do with all the digital programs. It's easier. The creativity has to stay strong.
Yes.
But next to that, doing it. Oh, and realize I sit here, I'm talking with you now. I sit here. Time difference. I work with someone in Malaysia. I work with someone in Thailand. My son is in Australia. We talk to it. It's limitless. You know, and I see it as a blessing. I'm happy I'm living in this time.
No, it definitely is. And I think you're right. It does make things that you do more streamlined. You can do things more efficiently. So there has been some great changes. Now, when we look at everything that you've done, one of the shows that you're hosting now back home in Curaçao, you have a daily show. What's the focus of that show? In the morning, what's the focus of that show?
It started out as a lifetime program. So 1 hour every morning from Monday to Friday. And basically, I'm talking about empowerment, motivation, and those things. Actually, I was thinking about changing it to go a little deeper. I'm very cautious to do only women things in my program.
Okay.
Understand? I don't want it to be only a women program because I have a lot of male listeners and who also react. My biggest concern is that to support the conference, this year is the 15th, but I see that still people need more information. Maybe I should go in depth and talk more about the topics that we are having during the conference. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
go a little more in depth. And so my show is in Papiamentu, so I'm not doing it. It has to be in Papiamentu, so everything has to be translated. But I think I'm happy with the show. This specific show, because I was always in the radio, but this specific show started in 2007, so it's 11 years now that I'm doing this specific show. So it's a lifetime show, lifestyle
show. Okay.
Yes.
And you do it for 5 days a week, an hour each day. Now I'm going to ask you, with everything that you're doing, how do you manage your time?
The show, I usually record it, so I don't do it live. That's the only way I can do it, because it's in the morning and then I have to work. So, and the thing is, the radio station is in Bonaire and I live in Curaçao. So I do it, and you know the digital system?
Yes.
I upload the program, and when it has to go on air, the computer downloads it. So that's how I do it. And I usually make it in the evening.
Okay.
I choose the music. I choose nice music, even though it's daytime. I think sometimes our soul needs good music.
Oh, all the time.
So that's how I do it. But you know about time management, it has to do with planning. On Saturdays, sometimes I sit and I make my show for the whole week. Then during the week, I don't have that headache. The only thing I have to do every afternoon is, because I also do the news show at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the only thing that I have to do, and then I have to sit and do it. But like today, I recorded it today because I didn't want to miss this new show. But so I already uploaded it, and when it's time, the computer will download it. So that's how I manage it. I really have to plan. And the great thing for doing radio next to television is that wherever I am in the world, doesn't matter what time change or anything, I can do my shows. That's one of the things that I really love about it.
That's actually quite cool. And, you know, especially the fact that, like you said, wherever you are, you can do your shows. And you, my dear, you love to travel. And I think...
But I don't tell, my thing is, I don't tell people, like some people when they are abroad, you will see it on, they will put the pictures. You will never see my pictures when I'm abroad. When I come back, I may post one or two, but I don't do it when I'm abroad. Actually, especially for my clients, some clients don't like it when you're away. So I'd never say that I'm away again, you know?
Well, you know, I think in this day and age, you get to choose whether you're going to share everything on social media or whether you're not. You know, when you look at all the places that you've been, where is your favorite place to travel to?
You know, at this moment in time, Malaysia. I love the place. I really love the place. You know, it's, yeah, I love it.
Okay.
And my son lives in Australia. I love going to Australia too. So they will see me again this year.
All right. So let's go back to your work. Let's go back to everything, and let's look at your books. Now, you are a multilingual author. You've written books in English, Papiamentu, and Dutch. What inspires you to write?
I always write. I've always written since I was a child. I have a lot of things that I didn't publish, but I won contests when I was small. And as a journalist, your work is writing. So I write as part of my work. Every day I'm writing. And one of the things, I have a lot of books written that I didn't publish. I have them written. I mean, they are there. So I promised myself that this year, 2 of them will be published for sure.
Okay.
Because I have them written and I love to write. I mean, and one of the things I do, and that's one of the great things of the social media, I write short stories for whenever something happens to me. I have an experience. I write it and then I publish it. So this will be a compilation of publications that I will have this year.
Okay.
And I'm always also a columnist. I wrote for 10 years. I was writing a column in a newspaper, and I have them also. That one of the things is I wrote 500 columns. So I'm going to publish. It's a lot in 10 years.
That's a lot. That's an incredible amount of columns.
So I hope to publish them too. You know what the challenge is in all these?
What's the challenge?
The challenge is the finances. I've published books just to publish, so they are not beautiful. And I promised myself I only want the next books all have to be beautiful. And that means that when you make beautiful books, you have to pay the beautiful price. And then the other challenge is that you're not always selling all the books you wrote. So that's making me very cautious also to publish just to publish. You understand?
Yes. I agree. And I also think, when you write, it's an extension of yourself. So, yes, there's a need to, when you write, to share that part of you and actually really deliver something that you feel that people can see the message in the book.
But I have so many manuscripts now that this year I'm going to publish 2 more. So I really promised myself that. Last year I had 1. These were Christmas stories. I have I've been writing a Christmas story in the newspaper for years. So at a certain moment I bundled them and published them. So last year I had a second bundle of Christmas stories.
Okay.
And in Papiamentu, all in Papiamentu. So, and I wrote another one last year. They asked me to write again a Christmas story for another newspaper. So I'm starting again. So when I have 5 or 6, I will publish them again. Only Christmas stories. It has a kind of a special feeling, You're reading about things that happen during Christmas time. It has a special feeling.
All right.
And I love celebrating Christmas, so.
You know what? I do. I have to say, I really do. I think Christmas, wherever you are, there's that real specialness. And when people actually get past it's just about the gifts, when you spend time with family and friends. No. Yes. It's
the family, the bonding, the wanting to be a good person because it's Christmas,
So going back to the event that is coming up, and just so that people have the date, when is the event this year?
It's just around the corner. It's this month, May 26th and 27th. And I know there are some adventurers out there. You can still come. If people want to say, I want to do something else now, like I have been doing many times, you can come. The conference is the 15th, and I'm very proud about that. We have our speakers confirmed. I just got a mail this afternoon from Jen Flynn. She has a PhD. She's a doctor in business strategy. The topic this year is strength, and she's a professor at the university in Atlanta.
Okay.
So she's one of our powerful speakers. She's a world traveler to a globetrotter. She's a powerful speaker, and I'm seeing her as a very great role model for young women. A lot of young women, because they have not traveled, because they have not had a work experience. I think she can be a very, very, very good challenge for them to have a great life like she has to. And the other speaker is Dr. Naomi Maria. She's one of our young women. Remember, you know it. We want young people to be in this.
Yes.
She's a young professional. She's a scientist, a medical scientist. and she's from New York. She's from here, but she lives in New York and working in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing great experimental medical work. And the third speaker is willing to come, but has to, she's a VIP too. I'm not going to mention the name because I really want to tell her to tell me, it's okay, I'm coming.
Okay.
But if not, we have from the Netherlands too. As you know, we have in-between activities. When you were here, you know it. And we have 2 in-between activities for sure. We're pending on another one, so I hope that she will confirm. She said she will confirm this Friday.
Okay.
But the other 2, we have a doctor, cosmetologist. So you see how many beauty things are being done all over the world by people who are not really certified or responsible for what they're doing and giving injections and all those things. We have a real cosmetologist from the Netherlands coming to our conference to be part of the conference. That's Dr. Lian Wong.
Okay.
And she's going to talk about how to be beautiful and healthy and responsible. And then you met her too. We have Dr. Justine Hayden. She's going to talk. Remember the talk about how to look good?
Yes.
Yes. So she's going to talk about that again. That's a how you call it? A prize winner every time again in every conference. So we have to do it. She's going to talk again about that. And yes, we have the other in-betweens. I really want to keep some things like a surprise.
Of course.
Because if you're coming, you need to get a surprise. But what I like about the conference is, next to my enthusiasm, is the great amount of people who believe in it and who are really looking forward to being there again. Our MC this year will be Alba. You remember her?
I remember her. The lovely Alba.
Yes, she will be the MC this year. And there will be probably another MC, but she will be the main MC this year. And that's it. I mean, we have great speakers. We have
You always have great speakers.
Yes. And you know what happened to these great people? I think it's because they understand this conference is about empowering women, empowering female leaders. Every woman working, mixing it with the household, with a relationship, with all the other things that come around, is a leader. Most of the time you are alone. Leaders are always alone because they have to solve their reality alone. These women, especially educated women, are in situations that they have the big challenge of people thinking that they are Wonder Woman. And I think there's only one movie that's giving us the pretension that we can be Wonder Woman, and we all know it's not possible.
No.
The reality is, and because of that, one of the things that I think is very, very important to say regarding this conference is that we are not working on networking. If you want to network, you're welcome. You can come and talk. We exchange business cards. That's nice. But at a certain moment, you have 2,000 business cards, and you don't have no friends. You don't have no one you can relate to. You don't have no one you can call, because a business card is a business card, and you have to call it during business hours.
Yes.
But we are working on relationships, and I'm so proud to say that we did succeed. We did succeed with this conference to create relationships, to have people being great together. Like last year, we had a lawyer from Miami, and one of the connections made was that she opened the opportunity for a student, a law student, to do an internship with her.
That's really amazing.
Because usually you don't get the opportunity. And our conference advisor Sister Norma Angel. By the way, we had a pre-conference event 2 weeks ago here in Curaçao. Wow, that was so powerful. I'm still fired up with that because it was an event that, especially because we have to get in the mood, you know? And we are in the mood. And Sister Norma Angel is she is doctor in social psychology. She works all over the world, and she was born here. And one of the things that she's giving back to her community too. So I was so happy that I am happy that she's our conference advisor. And as our conference advisor, we're getting the best tips and updates and information and the way she pushes me to do certain things or not to do certain things. And most of all, we need to empower our own people. And this is the way she wants to do it and how is she doing it. So she came to give a pre-conference, and I'm telling you, people are fired up. It was so powerful. Next to her, because she's talking to me also about, we have regular conversations about the conference and how we can do it better, how we can do it bigger, how we can reach the woman who needs it. The relationships are very important because especially when in the alone situation of leaders, you have the reality that more and more women, you need people to understand you. You need people to support you. The only way you can get it is by having a circle, by having a group of women like us that you are part of.
No, I definitely agree. This idea of you've said quite a few things that are very, very important. That it's not about networking. It's about building the relationship and growing those relationships and building something stronger. So, I mean, the fact is this event is doing the right thing. It's been going for 15 years. This is just really great. And as an ex-speaker, I have to say, I was very honored you invited me. I was very honored to be part of it and to see firsthand myself the work that you do with the women that you work with. It was just really exceptional.
And one of our problems is that sometimes people don't believe in what we're doing or they don't understand. But I tell people, if you don't come, if you don't see what we're doing, if you don't trust that you probably will need something, come at least one time and see what we're doing and decide if this is really for you or not. I'm sure that what we are doing is what a lot of women need, a lot of working women need. But I cannot force them to come. I cannot force them to do something for themselves. Yeah. Do you realize, Lillian, that some women are not coming because a man is telling them, you don't go? Do you realize that? So that's another thing. Where is your will? Where is your own will? Where is your ability to do something? Especially when you have children, you don't have the luxury to be ignorant. Because when you have a child, you also have the commitment that you have to be part of the development of this creature, this person, this part of you that you are responsible for. And I'm always telling people, I don't challenge them. I just tell them, listen, if you don't know why you have to do it, then it's okay, because each one of us will do what we do when we have to do it.
Yes.
Okay, when is the right time to do it. But I think it's very sad that women are listening to people who cannot help them. If you listen to someone, don't do it, don't go, why should you go to that? And another thing, last year, Sister Norma told me that she was very surprised that someone told her they are not coming to the conference because we are talking bad about men. And then I go like, okay, my husband is every year at the conference.
Yes.
He didn't run away. He did not run away. So nothing bad is happening to him. I have a son who was also one of the speakers once. I have a grandson who I hope to be one of the speakers in the future. How can I talk bad about men if I have these great men around me?
Exactly.
It has to be a completion. It has to be something that we are all benefiting of. And especially, we are not in the situation that we need to fight any man.
No.
We don't have to. We don't need it. We don't need it. So there are a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of people who, for their own safe reason, will badmouth it. But what I tell people is, whatever happens, the conference continues. So, what's the problem?
Well, you know what? I think you're very clear about your stand for this event, and you're very clear about your purpose for this event. And I think that, the one thing is you always attract the right people. The people that don't turn up, there's nothing you can do to make them be there. And that's just it.
Maybe they will not be a contribution either. You see?
So, looking at some of the other things that you do, and we mentioned that you are a Feng Shui master and a Pat Chi practitioner. First and foremost, I know what Feng Shui is, but what is Pat Chi?
Pat Chi is the Chinese fortune telling. So if I have the right dates of you, I can tell you about your life.
Ooh.
So it's handy, this wisdom. It's not a religion to start with. I'm a Roman Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a religion. It's life philosophy, how you look at life and what you can make of life based on nature. So it's based on nature. And I'm totally in awe of having discovered this. Why? Because it helped me to understand myself. When you discover what the information is, how you can... Feng Shui is much more than just putting your furniture in a certain way.
Okay.
It's also about how you manage your life, what you do with your life, how you can even change your fate. I mean, if things are not going good, what is not going good? Why should I do things in a different way? You need to be a little open-minded to understand that there is so much more in the world, that we will all die without ever knowing, that you cannot be ignorant and say, if I don't know it, I don't eat it, or I don't do it, It's a luxury you don't have. It's really, really, really about taking care of yourself. And Feng Shui as a business is a big challenge. Mm-hmm. And I've helped so many people. I'm doing Feng Shui since 1997. That's when I discovered it. And when I read it was a book I discovered in a bookstore in Puerto Rico. And when I read a book, I was so angry that no one had told me about this before. And then it turned out a lot of people had never heard of it, neither, just like me. And the more I got involved, the more I got hooked.
Okay.
And then I did official training, and then I certified with Lillian too in Malaysia.
Like I said, I'm in awe of all you do. So now you practice, and you actually have the ability to practice online as well.
Yes, all over the world. That's a great thing, It's easy, especially like we're doing with Skype now. If someone wants to make use of our service, they let me know, and then I send them the information, what we need to be able to give the service.
Okay.
But I love the digital world. I love this whole development of, look how many times you and me can communicate, and it's for free.
Exactly. So you just pointed something out, that people need to send you their information if they want the service. How can they find out about the service? What's your website? How can they connect with you?
Okay, we have, it's in Papiamentu, because we're developing an English website now. But the Papiamentu website is Feng Shui Corso, that's KORSOU 168 @gmail.com.
Okay.
But they can also just send me an email to my name, Reyna Joe @reynajoe.com. And then I will direct them to the other. That I think my personal email is easier at this moment.
Yes.
My name, Reyna Joe @reynajoe.com.
So yes, and they can also connect with you on Facebook, because you're also on Facebook as well.
Yes, on Facebook we can connect for sure. And realize I love to share this wisdom. I love it because I see how many people are helping themselves by knowing what to do, because I can help them with it. And it's not a luxury. If things are not going good, it's great to know why they are not going good. It's not a luxury to know it.
Well, people believe, it goes against religion. It's, it's against the Christian faith. So I guess there's a lot of different questions and hang up with that. So when people say that to you, what is your response to them?
One of the things that I love, and it's really helping me, that Lillian Tu, the person who made Feng Shui known for the Western world and who wrote more than 100 books about it, and who's my master, I studied with her. She is Catholic, just like me. So we celebrate Christmas and all the Catholic things, and we practice Feng Shui.
Okay. So there goes that argument.
No, but some people, one of the things is it's a challenge to accept that there's something so big that you don't know about, and you think you know everything already. So a lot of people think they know everything, and then if they didn't know this yet, then it's not possible that it existed. Okay, we accept those people, and we continue doing our Feng Shui.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You have to open your mind for the world.
I agree. And so if you were at all curious, you want to find out a bit more about the Feng Shui or the Pat Chi, send Reyna an email at reynajoe.com. At reyna@reynajoe.com.
No, Reyna Joe @reynajoe.com.
Thank you for the correction. And find out. Satisfy your curiosity. I think that covers that. And I have some more questions. Just a couple more questions. So
okay.
So let me ask you. You've done quite a lot. You've seen quite a lot, and my question is, how do you bounce back from setbacks when you experience setbacks?
It stays something that you have to go back to, that little child place in your heart when you have setbacks, and we all have it. We all experience it, and you experience it sometimes at the moment that you don't expect, from the people that you don't expect. And Lillian too told me, doesn't matter, we bounce back. And then, one thing with Feng Shui is that you have cures for everything. Okay. And one of the cures is also protection against things that may start happening. And Feng Shui will not solve everything, but it will soften certain things that happen to you, just like disappointments, envy, jealousy, people wanting to destroy you. And one of the things that we do is protect ourselves beforehand. So we have our protections, we have our cures. I do my rituals for protection, because you never know where it's coming from. And it's a reality in life. I know it's happening, it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen, but I know it will happen. And the best thing that I can do is do my protections. And what really, really, really helped me is hearing the stories of Lillian. Lillian too, not Lillian Agbaga. Lillian too. How she bounced back, how she handled disappointment and being sad, and people who were really her friends backstabbing her, because it's so recognizable. when she's talking about certain things, and I had some very good private conversations with her, it's good to know that you will survive it. That's the secret. Knowing, okay, this person is disappointing me, this person is hurting me, I will survive it because I have the tools to survive it with. That's what I have. And understand, I've been in the place that some things really broke me. I'm not there anymore. I know now that I will survive it. So whatever happens, welcome. I see it as a teacher.
Okay. So basically, you'll survive. You're not alone. Take it as a learning moment, and know
Yes.
that you will always come out of it.
Yes. Yes.
Those are great
Definitely.
tools. Those are great tools
Yep.
for managing setbacks. Reyna,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot thank you enough for being on the show. I've looked up and the time has flown by.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And I am wishing you the best with this event coming this May. And yes, please keep me posted. I would love to see pictures. And yes, looking forward to hearing about the next one, because you have this really great ability. As soon as the event is done, you're already talking about the one for 2019. So
We
yes.
already have the speaker. We already have 2019 speaker.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, just keep me posted.
Yes. So thank you so much. And I
You're
mean, I
welcome.
really would love to see you here again. You
Yes.
never know. You never know what can happen, that you will be here this May 26 or 27. And if there's anyone who's saying, I want this challenge, let me know. We will arrange it.
All right. Okay, so you've heard it here. Stuff happens. I may be in Curaçao in May, but let's see what happens. Beautiful, Reyna. Thank you so much for your time. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
having you on the show. All
Thank
right.
you so much.
You're welcome.
You've been listening to the Shine Out Loud Show. If you want to connect with us or let us know what you thought of today's show, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Shine Out Show.